Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing us to take a break. Going back now to our agenda, we are on business items, item number 12. And I did provide an opportunity at the break for anyone else to provide us slips, which I did receive a few, so thank you very much. So now we're going to move on to item number 12, which is discussion and/or action on approval of First Transit contract extension. I understand that this was an item that was discussed, however, was unable to have any action taken on our last meeting, and so we are seeing it again here at this meeting, and we're going to go ahead and start then with our public comments on the item. We'll start with Ms. Leti Vizcarra. She's still here? Yeah.
Good evening, Council. My name is Leti Zuno Vizcarra, and I'm a resident of the city of Calexico. I am also the Vice Chairperson to the Social Services Transportation Advisory Council that serves Imperial County. I've been a member of that council for several years, and I'm here in that capacity as well as a member of the city of Calexico, a citizen of our city. And I'm also here as a capacity as the program director of Imperial Valley's only independent living center, Access to Independence. Mr. John Moreno talked a little bit about what we do in terms of employment. But let me expand a little more on that, because I'm here tonight to urge this council to approve the contract with First Transit that you have before you on First Transit, which provides our paratransit ADA services to our disabled constituents in the city of Calexico, which you are here to represent every night and every day in your roles as city councilmen and women. My role in running Imperial Valley's Independent Living Center is to provide services to people with disabilities. We provide a wide range of services. Our only constituents are people with disabilities. About 40% of my consumers or clients are residents of Calexico. One of the things that we do, one of the programs that we have is called a transition program. And one of the things that we advocate on a legislative perspective is to transition people from nursing homes or out of skilled nursing facilities back into the community. Calexico has done a wonderful job in providing a lot of senior housing. We have the beautiful Dianza housing. You guys just built that beautiful one around the corner. We have the Luis Spud Moreno apartments. We have the Alejandro Rivera apartments. I'm sure you all know of how many you have and how many seniors and people with disabilities live in the city of Calexico and require of these ADA paratransit services that are crucial for them to get to their doctor's appointments, to get around town, and to assist them with the modifications that these vehicles have in order for them to be able to live independently. Without this service, we really are putting our community at risk of being re-institutionalized. We've come a really long way as a nation in working to get people with disabilities to live in our community. A lot of these folks, we look at them as seniors, but they have disabilities. They're our family members, they're our neighbors, they're our grandparents. There are also younger folks that have disabilities and want to live in the community amongst the rest of us. And by law, that's the way it should be. If you all follow the Olmstead Act, that's the way it should be. So before you, again, you have this action item to extend this contract, which is vital. I know one of the arguments that you have before you is that you have the option of extending it. I'm here to urge you to extend it at least a year. If you go out for RFP, it's a minimum of 4 to 5 months wait. 4 to 5 months wait with people would go without this service. All of their vehicles are equipped for wheelchair access, and all of their staff is highly trained to be able to help people in and out. So I'm really here urging you to extend this contract for a minimum of 1 year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vizcarra. Ms. Ana Castro?
Can I speak last, please?
No, Ms. Castro, if you can go ahead and I have 2 others. Yes, but I am asking if you can come to the podium, please. It is your opportunity. I would rather you do now. Would you like to speak now? Actually, I'm the chair, ma'am, and so I'm asking if you'd like to speak now. So you don't want to speak now? Well, actually, the chair of a council meeting is usually the one that organizes the speakers, and I'm the chair, so I'm asking if you could speak now? I'm sorry.
Good afternoon. My name is Ana Castro, 2187 Arcarillo Court. I believe this transportation has always been, it goes out for bid every year. The year that it was, they went out for bid, in 2008, 2009, the company that is available now, the citizens will not be without a service, because what I'm asking is for you to open it up for bid, to see who's available out there that can provide a better service than what they have been doing now. In 2009, I believe, the transportation, First Transit, was not meeting their fare box ratio, which comes from the ridership. At that time, in order for them to meet the fare box ratio, they increased the amount that the citizens pay to use that bus from 75 cents to $1. So does that mean that if you extend this company and they do not meet their fare box ratio, you are going to allow this company to increase their fare to the citizens because they have not met their requirement? Have they been, is there documentations where they have been meeting this fare box ratio? Because every year you do increase the amount that you paid for them. So that is my concern. What happened to opening it up for bid for other companies to come and bid? Not for the citizens to lose, because they won't lose. There's also, what is the other company that used to be in? That is by Kennedy, Mrs. Kennedy in El Centro. They have they can also bid for this company. So why isn't it not open up for bid? And instead you want to extend it. So those are concerns. The ones they already did raised the amount of what the citizens paid from 75 to $1. So will this happen again if you guys extend the service for them another year? And have you looked at if they are meeting the requirements that is stipulated in the contract when they bid for this contract? Because it's a contract that the city puts out for bid. That is my concern and my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ms. Castro. Mr. Mark Baza.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I wanted to speak in support of extending the contract for a couple of reasons. One is if you were to go out to bid, whether it's the city or as we've talked with the city and staff about going out to a consolidated RFP, it would take time to do that. You know, I think it's very conservative to say that a contract, a renewal would take at least 6 months, 5 to 6 months. That's a minimal. It would take probably more than that. You'd have to develop an RFP, one that, you know, suits all the, and meets all the state requirements, the city's requirements. You have to put it out to advertisement. You have to give a period for notification, and then you have a selection process. So all that takes time. So, you know, I think it is fair to give a year's extension that would give an opportunity for staff to work either independently as a city or together with ICTC, as we have been doing in previous requests for proposals for the operation of the dial ride program. That's what I had.
When we were in review with Mr. Rodriguez, I understood that there's an intention, well, what you kind of said now. Can you kind of just elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure. The goal of the consolidated request for proposals is that we would solicit for all of the dial ride operations in Imperial Valley. That would be for Calexico, the city of El Centro's dial ride, Raleigh's dial ride program, and we, ICTC, operate a small service in the West Shores area, in north of the county. So the goal is to get let's say, to see if we can get a bid price that would save money for the overall contract. That, let's say economies of scale, that you have one vendor that can perform all of the services for a better price than even, what may be currently available here in this city or in the other cities.
Just to interject real quick. So what you're trying to say is that the county, ICTC, Imperial County Transit Commission, is looking for creating an RFP in a regional manner down the road, which is, and that's why we're asking for 1 year only?
Yes, our goal at this point is to get an RFP out either late this year or the first part of January. So if we do that process, we could complete a selection process in time for the end of this year extension. That would be the goal.
Thank you. Okay, and last but not least, Mr. Charles Brockwell on item number 12.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. I am Charles Brockwell. I am the general manager for First Transit. I just moved here about 6.5 months ago, back in January. I'd just like to say on behalf of First Transit myself, we have been pleased to operate for City of Calexico, providing a dial ride service here. It has been a pleasure thus far. We look forward to continuing that service to you guys for at least another year, hopefully more if things go correctly. I'd just like to say, as far as the price raise for the fares, First Transit does not have any control over prices. That would be the city's job to raise the prices, not ours. We are not in control of that. We just do what the city provides us to do. Same thing with any other services we provide. As far as it goes with the citizens of Calexico, the surveys that I've seen and the surveys that we've provided to the passengers, we have received numerous responses of they like the service, they're pleased with the service, they want to continue the service. If you do know of anybody who has any concerns, please have them contact us. We'd be more interested to look into it, address those concerns, and fix those concerns. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, don't go. We may have questions for you.
Okay.
Mr. Moreno, do you have any questions for Mr. Brockwell? Mr. Kim, do you have any questions for the speaker?
Yes. I've had a lot of call from and lots of senior citizens to complain about the service and not being, they have to wait very long, or they're not serving on the weekends.
Okay, we actually run one bus on Saturday and Sunday. Both days we run from 7 to 5 on both days. We do run both days on the weekends versus other cities do only run one day on Saturday. So we run both weekend days. We also we have about 95.6% on-time performance, which is above the contractual agreement. So we are running pretty well on time. If we do have any of those issues, any of those residents here, let them call us, because we have not heard any of those complaints as of yet.
I've been having a comment, they've been calling 2 hours, they couldn't get the bus.
Okay, so we haven't received those complaints, so if you can get those for me, I'd gladly look into them and try and fix if they are having those issues. But as of right now, we are not aware of those issues. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Any further questions, Mr. Kim?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Mr. Castro, do you have any questions?
Well, I have a question. The contract is going to be, well, but not to you, to Mr. Baza. Mr. Baza, you mentioned that the contract is going to expire when? For this company? September 2nd. And you mentioned that we don't have time to make decision in order to choose another company. That's what you mentioned, right? But that's wrong.
Hold on. When you respond, you need to be up at the microphone because we can't pick that up on the recording.
But that's totally wrong. Who are you to decide that we can? Let me finish. Let me finish. Who are you to decide that we can decide to open for requests for other company? Also, you mentioned that it's hard to others company to be ready in order to give the service to Calexico. There's a lot of companies are ready to work with this system. You said that.
No, I did not.
No, you said that. Well, I'm not going to discuss that, but I hear that, and that's my concern. How come you support? I mean, you should be neutral on this issue.
I am. I presented the facts as I understand them from my professional view about how long it takes to put out a good RFP and to really get a qualified vendor to do the service. That's just my professional opinion. I'm not saying how you should do it. If you feel like you can get an RFP done in short order, that's the city's prerogative. I'm telling you, I was giving you my professional opinion.
That's your
and
that's your opinion, and I respect that.
That's all I was giving you. I'm not telling you how to do your business.
Thank you. And also, what's your name? I'm sorry, not to you, Mr. Baza. Thank you. And also, well, I'm sorry, your name is Charles?
Charles Brockwell.
I'm sorry.
Brockwell, Brockwell, Brockwell.
Brockwell.
Yes.
I'm sorry if I don't pronounce good. Well, the thing is, I received so many calls that they called to your office or to your, I don't know, the main, where the people answer the phone, and I received call that no one's answered the phone sometimes. They want the service, and it probably sometimes they last like half an hour and no one answered the phone. What is the answer to that?
We have, well, number one, I'd like to see proof. Okay, we have proof of our ridership of what they've said about us so far. We have legitimate proof with names and numbers attached to those. We will hand it to the city and they can provide to you if you like. Okay, we have 4 dispatchers that sit inside that dispatch office with 2 phones. I've never once, while I've been in that office, heard it ring more than 3 or 4 times before it gets answered. So that's just what I've been there for the last 6 months I've been there.
Okay, and also, I receive calls that sometimes the people call you one day before, like probably 8 in the morning from the next day, and sometimes you don't show up, or either probably you show up, but the driver doesn't wait for the passengers. What is your response on that?
Well, how long would you like them to wait? We have pretty much a 5-minute waiting window. If we wait that 5 minutes, they don't come out, they are no-shows. So if that time they leave, then we can try and schedule them right back. But if we don't have room for them, we have an obligation to the other passengers who have called and made reservations to pick them up as well. So if we have time and availability to go back and get them, we can. But we can't wait all day just for one passenger.
Not all day. That's hard to wait that.
Right.
That's something that doesn't work like that. But
Right.
at least wait for the passengers,
Yeah, and
because
we
at least a few minutes. So I understand. Sometimes you are in a hurry. You have passengers. You need to attend others passengers. But at
Right.
the same time,
Industry standards is either 3 or 5 minutes is the wait time to wait for a
3 or
passenger.
5.
We wait 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes, if the passenger does not come out and notify us that they are there, they are ready to go, then they call dispatch, they notify them they did not come out, and we leave. And we have that log. So we have a log of all these things that happen. So we keep track of everybody who no-shows, who cancels late, the whole 9 yards. So we keep track of all of our passengers.
okay.
I'd like to express a concern that I do have, Mr. Castro, that last year we realized that there was, because right now you mentioned about being neutral. I really am concerned. I'm not sure if we're into maybe the possibility of having to be concerned about what we went through last year, because your family does own a bus system.
Last year?
And so, yes, in October, when we talked about your son's company. And so we need to make sure
But
that...
that's another issue.
That's
We're
why I'm
talking
concerned
about senior transit right now.
But it's still busing, and so as far as being neutral on the panel, I think that's really important that we be very careful. I would like to motion for its approval at this time because I believe we've already exhausted, and it is my concern that we not go back into that issue with the conflict of interest in your part.
There's no conflict of interest. You said that? Is there a conflict?
I feel that we
You
possibly
feel?
might be approaching something like that, with the conversations being that you do have the ties to a company that your family does own. So we've already in the past had you excuse yourself from these conversations. So I'm a little concerned. So at this point, maybe being that that is a serious concern, I believe I'd like to motion at this time for its approval.
May
I second it for a year extension.
May I? Mayor?
Thank you.
May I?
I'm seconding a motion for a year extension.
Okay.
May
You
I,
want to
Mayor?
open for discussion, Mr. Kim?
I didn't have a chance to talk.
Oh, okay, go ahead. What did you want to say, Mr. Kim?
No, he asked questions already. I
No,
believe.
question for that person, but we didn't
Oh,
have a
okay.
chance to talk issues.
Discussion.
That's
Then
why
I
we
will say
so
I'll
much to watch
second it for discussion.
There you go. Second for discussion, Mr. Kim.
Okay. First of all, I've been heard a lot of complaint from the seniors. As a lot of people knows, I have a lot of communication with the senior citizens. They are the Rivera areas, they've been complaining, and they are Flores areas, the meadows, they are complaining. The people's complaining, even the regular people and resident people, they call and they cannot have the bus in the weekends, or they have a long time to ready to get the bus. And also I believe with the city service of the city of Calexico, our city council has to make the decision, not the county-wide. This is our city, our service for our community. We need to customize our service, our community members. And also, I don't agree with the monopoly of the business. One business serves the whole county, and that means no competitive. They can raise the things. They can at any time they're using some of the reason to raise it. The competition is one of the way to adjusting the cost or price in the southern level.
And I believe, Mr. Kim, we will be requesting for
That's
proposal
why,
within a year.
That's why we need to
And
have
I
a
think,
RFP process.
and I think we also should think regionally in some instances to work close with the county and the ICTC and the goals that they have set forth.
Mhm.
And what we're thinking is we're thinking on a small scale. I think we should maybe get a better bang for our buck. I think that's the whole concept behind this, and go regional.
I came from the city that was called the 10 million citizens. Okay, so I see the big scales, not the small town scales.
Okay?
Okay.
So then you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know I already very well talking. I know what's going on here, because we are the Calexico. We have a border town. We have a benefit there, and the rest of the county cities, they want to share our benefit to connect to their town. That's all I see it.
Okay.
I believe the citizens, they have to have a fair service.
Well,
And
the service-
we should have other people process to get open the better price and better service for the community. And we just gotta keep on doing it. You've been served last year, we're gonna give you another one. We shouldn't do that. We should. That's a way. I already received a lot of complaint, and I'm kind of like a little.
Let me ask you a question.
Proceeded. What can I finish?
Well, you're taking forever, but let's go.
Which is they brought too late to saying now they're saying, oh, we need to have proper 6 months or proper 4 months. So whatever, if they believe the proper, why they didn't bring that earlier than right now, so that's the moment to obligate us to threaten us to we're not going to have a service. We supposed to have enough time to bring this one in, bring to us to make the
Madam
decision
Mayor, I
in
call for the
a matter of
question.
times.
I call for the question, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I believe that you had already made the motion for the approval. May I just make a few comments before we move on?
Sure.
Ms. Vizcarra, you said so many important things for about our community because you know your customers as a professional, and I appreciate you coming here. Just a second. We probably won't be able to. Once we are in discussion, it's not appropriate to have somebody come up again unless. So anyhow, you bring very important information to this, but I believe that there's two things here. Mr. Hodge is not here today, and he's our ICTC representative, and he is representing this city in anything that has to do with transportation. So not allowing him to be in this conversation would be a bit disrespectful to our council member who's working really hard to improve the transportation needs of the city through ICTC. The other thing is what you're saying, I'm not sure if I can follow that logical, what you're trying to say about how the other cities are taking from the city of Calexico. However, in general, when you pull together, usually when pulling together, your resources are much more widespread, and you do benefit from pulling together in insurances and these kinds of things for services. Pulling together is the way to go in many aspects of administrations of businesses and administrations such as this. So I very much appreciate that professional information. It's really important to hear that kind of stuff, and you know, when we talk about complaints from the citizens and things like the gentleman said, you're providing a service where I'm not sure if there haven't been any complaints, serious complaints. The community is complaining, but we need to have them here, not just by words, but we need to prove that to see really if there's a problem before we start firing people. The other thing too is that what I understood from my review with the city manager is that, and that's where I appreciate what you just said, Ms. Vizcarra, is that transporting disabled individuals is not just any unit. It has to be a specialized unit. And so those specialized units are already here. So as far as extending them, it would be the natural thing to do then to look forward to something that's better. But to stopping these individuals now for unproven complaints at this point, because there's no proof, then we would be taking 10 steps backwards in trying to cancel someone and find someone else. And who's going to come at this point that quickly with such expensive and specialized equipment to service this community? It just doesn't make sense. So I'm going to go ahead and second the motion from Mr. Moreno to approve item number 12. Let's vote. Okay, the motion does not pass to approve the extension of the item number 12, the approval of the First Transit contract extension. May I entertain another motion?
Yes, I'd like to make the motion to extend the 6 months only to process the RFP process.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, so this is a motion to not approve. I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
To approve with the 6 months only, not the 1 year extensions. With the RFP, open the RFP process to the new companies.
Okay, so you're motioning a new motion to not only change the extension from 1 year to 6 months, you also want to add the RFP in there.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do I have
I need
a
to say
second?
Second.
May I say something on that
Yes, sir.
matter? I think we run the risk of having the citizens be without any bus service. Should we go with an RFP within now and 6 months, there's a chance, a window of time that we may miss and therefore not have any service. Would you really want to risk that?
Well, I think
I
I
don't
don't
think so.
agree with it because we still have 3 months. And another 6 months, 9 months, we're going to have enough time to get the RFP process to get to maybe same company or some other company.
But the risk is still there.
Beg your pardon?
The risk is still there.
What risk is there? The 9 months, you mean the 9 months we cannot go through the RFP process? Maybe same company
I'm
with
talking
uh,
a better
about 5
deal?
to 6 months.
Beg your pardon?
Talking about the 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, we're talking about the 9 months. To extend to 6 months, that means 3 months is still there. The 6 months, so 9 months, we're not gonna have time to do the RFP process?
I think we should go with the recommendation by staff and give it a year extension. I'm not going to vote for 6 months.
And regarding the complaints, we actually did a survey, and we only had 1% of the ridership submit complaints.
For
And
dialogue?
they were investigated and found non-issue.
Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Servin, me and you review the paperwork from the city. Me and you review. I ask you for that information, and you agree, and you knew that there's some numbers are wrong.
You're talking about the fare box ratio.
Yes, I'm talking about the 10% fare box ratio. And how come you recommend this company? Supposedly, it says on the contract, if this company doesn't meet the fare box ratio, we need to look for another company. And you knew, me and you checked those numbers, and you said, you know what, there is some errors from administration, but you agree that the administration make a big errors. I mean, the mayor, she said, there is some, we need facts. I mean, we don't have the people here. That is right, she's right. But what me and you review, you agree that there's some big numbers are wrong. And those numbers are in favor of First Transit.
The only problem is, Mr. Castro, is that we're not privileged, myself, or I don't know about Mr. Kim, but I don't know about Mr. Moreno. With the numbers that you two looked at, we're not privileged to see that right now.
Well, that's the
So-
reason we need to wait, and we need to
I totally
check
agree.
those numbers.
I would agree that we make even a special meeting as soon as possible when Mr. Hodge is back, because again, we need to respect the fact that he's been working on this, and the knowledge that he can bring to this conversation is crucial. But I do know that Mr. Kim has a motion on the floor, so do I have a second?
Mr. Castro was a second.
I was second the motion of Mr.
Okay, so his motion was for approval for 6 months only, and with an RFP.
At the same time. Right?
Yes.
At the same time.
Please vote. Okay, motion does not pass. Again, we have a tie, so we will have the same circumstances as the last vote that was the tie. We'll be putting it
It'll be
on
put on the
either a
next
special
regular
session.
council meeting.
Okay, and I would please encourage those that have information that can help us, for example, the conversation, Mr. Castro, that you had with Mr. Servin, so that we can all be enlightened of the information that you're
Sure.
looking at, and we can all take that all into consideration. So thank you very much. We're going to move on now to item number 13. It's discussion and or action on approval of extension of Pun and McGeady LLP contract to provide annual financial audit services for the city of Calexico for fiscal years ending June 30, 2013, 14, 15, with options of 2016 and 17.
Motion to approve, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Oh, I'll second that.
Second for.
I did, just to let you guys know, I did watch the video, and I did watch the very lengthy explanation by our finance director as to the circumstances around the extension with Pun and McGeady. And to me, I believe that from the recommendations from our finance director, it is reasonable to extend this, in that auditors such as these and the work that they've gone through, they don't come around very often, and there's not many to choose from. We want quality, especially the circumstances that we've gone through, and that we want to make sure that the individuals that we're working with are experienced for what we're going through, and we don't want to be running off professionals that are working with the city of Calexico. We want to be a city that works with individuals, so We just started to have this organization working with us, I believe it's 3 years? 2 years? 2 years. As a financial consultant myself, I know how hard it is to work with financial clients and to understand them, get along with them, and to become a productive team takes a while. And again, I'll repeat again, the City of Calexico is not a small company, it's a wide organization with very intense and intricate parts to our accounting and bookkeeping. And so the fact that we have already received quite a bit of very professional advice from our finance director, who exactly here for that reason is to help us stabilize our situation here financially. I would believe that this item really is a no-brainer. We just need to go ahead and allow these individuals to continue servicing this city. I also heard some comments about some negative comments about this organization, but again, we're going to go back to the same thing. It's very important that we don't do that, try to avoid that, and provide professionals with their due respect, and that if we want to make claims to discuss the possibility of not working with a certain organization or consultant, I think we need to look at facts, and that we all make reasonable decisions, and with not making decisions without our due diligence. So I have seconded that motion. Mr. Moreno, did you want to make any other comments besides what I just said?
No, I call for the question.
Thank you. We are going to go ahead and vote for this item
Second
its
for
approval
discussion.
on item number
Discussions.
13. We just discussed.
We never have the chance.
You just discussed?
What?
No.
Didn't
No.
I?
About
Sorry.
about
I
that?
think they discussed at the
Nothing.
last meeting.
Oh, okay, you discussed at the last meeting, that's true. But go ahead if you would like one more time,
It's
Mr.
going to end
Kim.
up 2-2, I'm telling you.
Go ahead, Mr. Kim.
What I understanding, a lot of entity, they have about a couple of years been, once in a couple of years, they're changing the audit form to make sure they have third eyes to they are doing okay. That is the real purpose of the audit purpose. We're not hiring the business manager or business directors whatsoever. We are hiring some third eye to show them, to check with them to we okay. And I believe that we cannot give them the long years to contract. So now time to change it to the new company to see the new eyes to what we're doing, really doing it. That's I've been arguing last time. I don't want to argue much. I just make the point, just a key point, like last time I did. So I believe we should change it, we should not approve this company, and then we should looking for others to get the audit.
Are you done, Mr. Kim?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Castro.
Yes, I believe that I heard is this company being for 2 years contract. He's been working for the city for two years, right, Mr.?
Under this name, yes, and I believe we had him a year before with another company. And what happened is the people, the staffing that we've been working with under the prior company actually separated out and formed their own company.
So
Yeah.
same people.
The people that we've been working, so they separated into different companies.
So company 2 years? You said the company
I
2 years?
believe the company, the original company we're with was 1 year, 2 years, and then they split off.
So
And
this
the-
2 years.
The company
again.
that we're with now, we've been with for 2 years.
So same person, we dealing with the 4 years already.
Well, no, there was one company and then certain people split out.
Okay.
And how much the annually amount to cost from the city? I mean, how much we pay for
About 75,000.
75,000?
But
Yeah,
isn't
it's in your
75 just
report
for
here.
this year?
75 would be for this coming year, 76 would be for 2 years, and so on.
More complicated.
Okay.
I believe there is, your recommendation, Oscar, is for 3 years, right?
Well, we have,
Instead to 5.
the finance director is recommending 5. I've had conversations with them, and so I'd be willing to recommend 3, but we do need 3. Anything shorter than that would be very difficult, because, again, to say that because we're dealing with them, that means that they're not objective. I think that's a fallacy. They are independent auditors. That's what we want. We want the most experienced auditors so we get the best agreement. And the concern as we move along, obviously, is if you will recall recently, we were thrown out of a competition on the grants for the parks because we could not meet Office of Management and Budget 133, which means we have to have an audit into the federal government by March 31st. We're running out of time. Every day we waste on this, we're not getting the ability to meet those deadlines. So again, we urge you to really consider that. If you feel comfortable with 3 years, I'm fine with that.
Do you know we have a double, we're paying double than school district?
I don't know what the school district is
School district, they
paying,
don't
but
pay $30,000 for the audit. We're paying $75,000 this audit.
I don't know. The school district, and
They
I
have more
don't,
complicated than us.
well, I don't know about that. I would challenge that, but I'm not going to get into that tonight.
Yeah, if we don't have.
I would rescind my motion and go with a 3 years extension for this company.
13, 14, and 15?
Yes.
Okay.
And let's not shoot ourselves in the foot by delaying this any longer.
Okay, so Mr. Moreno, you are now amending your motion, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
To the item, however, removing the options of year 2016 and 2017. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm
Correct.
amending it for 3 years.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Please vote. Just checking if it's not going to move. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Motion passes 3-1. Okay, we're down to our informational items. Our informational items are to be presented to the council for information only, and so we don't want to spend too much time. We're already almost at 10 o'clock. So we're going to, if we want to make comments, I'd like to know now. If not, I'm going to go one by one, and we're just going to pretty much recognize that we're receiving them unless you have questions. So we have 4 items under informational items. Item number 14 is the Calexico Dial-A-Ride Program, TDA 8C-Farebox Ratio.
This item is really presented because during the discussion, the last meeting, there was some questions about information regarding Farebox. So we decided we'd give you more information. If this develops into an item later on, so be it, but we want to make sure that we provide information.
Okay, so the item 14 will be useful for our future item that we need to discuss, item number 12's. Right? Is that what you're saying?
If there is no questions, we certainly aren't going to make it a future item, but there was discussion on this, so we want to, again, anytime there's discussion on it, we want to make sure that we provide information to you. So that's what we're doing here, we're just providing you with information.
Okay, so received?
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged, I mean. Item number 15 then is the Calexico Transit Needs Assessment Study status. And that also, Mr. Rodriguez, is for informational purposes?
One of the concerns was whether or not the money that was allocated, if we could do the RFP, and there was a question about whether it was the Imperial County Transit System or not. Actually, this money is through SCAG, and in the background that we give you a memorandum of understanding between SCAG and ourselves, whereby in the memorandum of understanding, it stipulates that SCAG will award the contract to the consultant. There was a question about whether we could award it, but in the memorandum of understanding, it's very clear. And in the second page where it talks about scope of work, it also talks about SCAG shall obtain through competitive procurement and consistent with applicable regulation requirements, the services of a consultant. So to me, it's very clear that SCAG will be putting out this bid, which in fact, I believe that we've already reviewed it, and I believe our individual representative, I believe Mr. Servine, sat on the panel to review the consultants, to review the consultants to make a selection. So the process is already moving on, and this is for an intermodal service.
Okay, so acknowledged.
Wait a minute.
You have a question?
Yes, I have
Okay.
questions. You said that they already been passed through this money?
That's correct. I'll let Mr. Servine answer, but again, as I explained in our briefings, there's a memorandum of understanding where we have agreed, the council has agreed, that in fact SCAG will be the lead agency on this, and they will do the RFP. We are a sub-recipient on this MOU with the monies.
So
and
they are the one, what you're saying, they are the one provide the money, but they are the one gonna be the initiating RFP process?
Now, the Southern California Association of Governments, called SCAG, it, along with us, applied for the money. The money was awarded, and we have an agreement with SCAG that, in fact, they will actually do the award of the contract. Now, they've taken us into consideration, as Mr. Servin, I'm sure, can attest to, because he himself sat on the panel that reviewed the people who submitted under the RFP. So we were taken into consideration. Maybe Mr. Servin can give us more information on that.
Please.
Yes, I sat on the panel last week. As a matter of fact, we selected a consultant based on several forums and various discussions. I think we had about an hour plus for each consultant, and they were very direct questions, and they were very close in appearance, but we did choose one. Now, SCAG takes it from here, and they start negotiating the actual terms of the contract and specifics.
So how the consultant collected? The SCAG, whatever the panel called them, or they announced it through the?
We work with the SCAG and ICTC collectively to go through an RFP process. RFP is sent out, people participate, and then from there we select the people to interview. And then we have further screens that we go through to list them, rank them, and then we have an oral interview. We had the oral interviews last week, and we did select a consultant or a company.
So that means the city of Calexico doesn't have any choice to who get the consultant?
We have made our choice.
He was on the panel.
The city of Calexico has a lot of input in this matter. SCAG and ICTC were the mechanism by which the city selected the consultants best suited for the city of Calexico, and other cities were involved as well. They're having their own discussion as we are here today.
So they what's it called, panel, they choose the one council already. And they not, how they announce it? They announce to the public, or how they call the companies?
Well, the RFP is put out to the public, and it is noticed, and so everybody that is reading up on this can look it up. All the
Very short
documents are-
notice.
Excuse me?
Very short notice.
It's
We
the
were
legal
talking about that
notice.
last week.
I'm sorry.
2 weeks ago. We were talking about this one 2 weeks ago.
Right. But you had mixed it with the dial-a-ride service. They have nothing to do with each other.
I mean, we talking this one 2 weeks ago.
You mentioned it as part of the dial-a-ride service. Yes, you did.
No, not Dial Live. I'm talking about the other ones. The consult,
Intermodal,
No, I'm talking about this money we're talking about 2 weeks ago. Was put on the agenda by today. And how fast you guys have what's called the announce it and they get the consultant? Or they've been issued a long time ago.
well, the MOU was signed with the city quite a while ago.
No, I'm
Mr.
talking
Kim.
about the hiring process. How come we just spoke 2 weeks ago about these issues, and then how so fast the SCAG moved to choosing the consultant in 2 weeks,
We don't move fast. The process had started some time ago.
some time ago?
Yeah.
And how come we didn't know, the last time nobody didn't say anything?
But you have a representative, which is Mr. Hodge. He's the one that's always on top, and he comes back and reports to us what's going on.
That's correct. And I sit on the TAC, and I sit on several other panels. where
So
we
this one is
discuss-
another one that ICTC involved, not the SCAG then?
Well, we work in conjunction, all three entities, the
Okay.
city,
Mhm.
SCAG, and ICTC. SCAG is the lead agency in this case.
Okay.
In other cases, ICTC is the lead agency.
So I don't see our former council do diligent to work. Does everything give our right to somebody else's to do it?
We're not giving our rights.
No, Mr.
sir.
Kim, we have a representative. This council appoints Mr. Hodge in this case, right now, presently. This council made the decision to appoint Mr. Hodge, and Mr. Hodge is the one that represents this council in all of that has to do with SCAG and ICTC, correct?
Correct.
So we do have representation.
But
I think I would suggest that Mr. Kim sit on the panel as an alternate.
No, I'm not talking about the sitting the panel. I think that I believe, still strongly believe that whatever they in there come to the council, council has to be approved that. That's what I believe. Whoever we send the license for the other entity, the council still have to have the vote for that.
Okay, well, maybe we might want to have that part of this discussion with Mr. Hodge as well, because since he is the appointed representative right now, and the concerns that you have, you might want to have that conversation with him, and he can express to you how he works and what goes on. If you have more concerns, then we can go further with that.
Not only Mr. Hodge is doing, I'm talking about our council to make the decision, just send the one or two person over there.
We did.
Give the whole authorities. It's not,
We do send them.
Okay,
yeah, we
well,
send them,
can
but we don't have a final decision. They're making decision. That's a problem I see.
With our blessing, I might add.
Meetings are Wednesdays at 6 o'clock at the County Administrative Center, right? Are they open to the public? Yes. Mr. Kim, I suggest you attend.
And come back and
But I don't have a vote. And also,
You have a voice.
well, also that one's supposed to be come to the council to take the
I gave
action
you
to
the
vote.
date. Are you meeting tomorrow? The fourth Wednesday. There you go.
Yeah, but
And where's the
council
location?
doesn't have a say so.
No, but
One more
everybody-
time, the council does have a say-so because we appointed a member in a democratic
And-
manner
and
to
giving
represent
your
us.
voice would be good.
It's just like with the pool being constructed. This panel allowed for myself and Mr. Hodge to be in all of those meetings regarding the pool. We come back and we report to you.
No wonder we don't have a pool.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Thank you. You have no idea what's going on with the pool. If you would ask, you would know that the plans were already submitted to the state. And we're not going to go any further because you're allowing for us to get off of the agenda, so.
I'd like to see
Item-
what committee Mr. Kim
item-
sits on.
Item number 16, I'm sorry, number 15 then, so acknowledged. Item number 16, the business license delinquent list for month of May 2013.
So acknowledged.
I
have questions,
request
Mr.
and that one, next time, I request Mr. Rodriguez to loan delinquents together, and also the data for the more detailed data for how much we collected.
Yeah, at this point, and the update, I think, which is important, is February 5th, when the delinquencies occur, because they have 30 days to pay it in January, and then after that, they become delinquent. On February 5th, we showed 408 within city limits, 200 outside of city limits that were delinquent, and swap meets 336. As of May 7th, as current as we have it at this point, we had, out of the 408 that originally were delinquent, we're down to 235 within the city limits. Of the 200 that are out of town, we're down to 96 out of town. And then swap meets, we have originally had 336, we're down to 149. And the collections were such that the delinquent bills, business license were sitting at 695,000, and today they're sitting at 423,000. So the differential of 272,000 has been either collected, or there's businesses that have gone out of business that we've taken off the roster. So I think that shows that we're making improvement on this. Now, the other thing that Mr. Kim had asked me for was how much was actually collected and how much was actually businesses that are not in operation. That information, unfortunately, we couldn't have for tonight. It was just,
Sure.
we didn't have enough time, but we will get it for you.
Okay.
We'll get
So
it for
by the way,
everybody.
the next time when you have a delinquency report together with the loan by the city, delinquent account,
We will add this on to the delinquencies the next time we put
Yeah.
it, so that we make sure we give you that
all the
information.
loan information
And
together.
the other loan
Confused.
information I'll actually send out.
What are we
We do have
referring
it.
to when we're talking about loans? That's not on the agenda here.
No, that's actually another topic that
Okay.
was
If
a
we want to talk
request.
about loans, we should talk about it when it's on the agenda, no?
Yes, and we will send it out to everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so acknowledged item number 16, so we're moving on now to item number 17, departmental overtime justification report for May 2013.
Acknowledge.
We have some question, I think, so we're discussing about the Mr. Rodriguez, about the overtime on the police department?
Well, I think the comments that I think I made during the briefings is that The overtime for the fire department, and kudos to the fire department. I don't know if the chief already took off, well, he doesn't get his kudos.
It'll be recorded.
It will be recorded. I remember that we went to this item a while back in reference to the hiring of the four firefighters under the federal program. And the one thing that we felt that would happen is that we would lower our overtime tremendously. The report that we have before you shows your overtime, and there's a summary in here that talks about the overtime, and it talks about the budgeted amount of $245,000 for overtime and other earnings, and that is down actually about $120,000 from the prior year. And when we adopted going forward with the grant, and we did get the grant for 4 firefighters, we went ahead and reduced the overtime budget by $120,000. The good news is that if you look at that report, we're sitting at about $102,000 surplus on that budget item with 2 more pay periods to go. So if that continues, we're going to be sitting just maybe a little under $100,000 surplus. So again, kudos to the fire department, to the chief. We are able to prove what we started out to prove, and that is that by hiring 4 more, we would actually lower our overtime. The cost of the 4 firefighters is probably in the neighborhood of just over $300,000, if I remember talking to the finance director. So if we save $120,000 up front, and then we're going to save another $100,000 hopefully by the end of the year, we're talking about $220,000. But the other thing that comes along with that, the difference being $80,000, the other thing that comes along with it is that we have staff that's fresh. We have fully staffed shifts of 10 people, 10 firefighters per shift. And the added bonus is that now, a lot of the time, we are running 2 ambulances out there for our community. And remember, we got a brand new ambulance. Well, it would have been sad if we got the brand new ambulance and wasn't able to put it into service. Because we have full staffing on the different shifts now we're able to run 2 ambulances most of the time. So we're providing better service to the community, and in doing so, obviously our revenues have gone up on the ambulance collections. So all in all, we're hoping that we basically come close to breaking even and providing better service to this community. That's the fire department. We go to the police department. Police department, we have some work to do. We show in the summary that we're over by about $270,000 with 2 pay periods to go, but I don't believe that that includes the last Stone Garden payment that we received, which is about $120,000. Is that correct, John? Maybe you can come up and...
It does include that, and we have $600,000 in asset forfeiture that we can draw for the rest of it.
So the remainder of the overage on this would come out of asset forfeiture, which can be used for this. We are in the process, obviously, of putting our budget together, so we will be talking with the police department about what we can do to lower this overtime for next year. We have to take a look at why it was over. It could be, I know at one time we had 7 officers out, so we were running a lot of overtime. So we'll have to take a look at that. At this point, I think we're down to, I want to say 4 officers out and soon to be 2 officers out. So when we get hit with the comp cases and officers are out, that's when it really hurts, because we have to supply these officers out there. So we'll be working with the police department to see what we can do for this next budget to hopefully lower that overtime.
Okay. Any more questions, gentlemen? Okay, so the Department Overtime Justification Report is acknowledged. And this is the end of the meeting. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.